How's it going, everybody? My name is Artorigold and I am a top 500 player. So today I want to go over how to carry your games as Soldier. So this is going to be a plat and a high gold game on one of my SMURF accounts. Numbani is an extremely good map. Like on the first point, it's really good for Soldier 76. There's lots of high ground and you can see a lot of different areas. You can see wherever direction the enemy is going to come from, you have a good sight of it. So one of the first things you should do, especially on defense on Numbani, is you always want to get set up right around in this area as Soldier. So this is where the enemy team is going to come from, and what you want to do as Soldier is you basically want to do your rocket and try to get a little chip damage in with your left click and rocket, and then build that ult charge. And then from there, you're also going to be able to scout the enemy and see what kind of composition they run. From here, you'll be able to decide if they're going to have a Winston or a Diva, and if that's the case, then you immediately want to run away and kind of just like back off. If they have like a Genji, same thing. If they have a Widowmaker, one of the important things with a Widowmaker, and I believe on this game there is a Widowmaker, and you'll see exactly why what you do want to do. See right here, there's a Widowmaker. I'm gonna right click and then back off, and that's because there's no reason to fight a Widowmaker. The Widowmaker wins pretty much 90% of the time. And as we can see, the Hanzo on our team learns this the hard way. If you try to peek a Widow, you can do a little bit of chip damage with your left click, maybe land the rocket on her, so you're risking everything just to do some chip damage. It's not worth it. So if you see a Widowmaker, be very cautious of contesting a Widowmaker, and I think one thing on a lower rank game, you're basically going to have to act like you are the carry, and in a situation where you're DPS, you kind of are the carry. So you want to play it as safe and sound as you can. So one of the things when playing on defense, you need to try and keep that mindset that your life is the most important thing and you want to not die. That's your objective. As long as you stay alive, you can live to do more damage. And if you die, that immediately puts at like your team at just this big disadvantage that you don't want. So what you want to do is you want to play it as safe as possible. As you can see, I'm right here. I'm not going to move my position anyway because I know that the enemy team is moving in right here and I'm doing just some chip damage, and that's all kind of what you want to look to do as Soldier. You want to just do consistent damage, and you want to be able to put pressure and apply pressure to the enemy team. So shooting at a shield as Soldier isn't really going to do a lot. One of the things you can tell here with aiming, by the way, is if you notice, I'm standing completely still, and that there's some advantages and disadvantages. So standing completely still, what it does is it allows me to aim a lot better because I don't have to focus on my movement and I'm able to just slowly and steadily aim. So one of the things that you'll also notice though, if you do that too much, you'll be really easy to kill. You have to decide when it's the right time to do that. For example, there's no Widowmaker. I don't know where she is. She's obviously not going to be over here, and she's not over here. She's somewhere over on this left side, probably looking for a line of sight to somewhere around these lines, but she doesn't see any of this area. So I'm perfectly safe from a Widowmaker, and currently that's my biggest threat. Always keep line of sight in mind, especially when you're playing a hit scan, because hit scan is very important for line of sight because you need to get on the high ground, and the high ground is extremely important for you to be able to hit the most targets because you have the most line of sight. So something else I wanted to talk about was this kill right here. So notice I'm doing left click damage, and then I use my rocket to finish them off. In a lot of situations, I would say in most situations, that is basically what you want to do. You want to use your left click damage, you want to use it to chip away at their health, and then you use your right click as a burst damage to kind of execute them because it does a lot. But sometimes just going for the AoE would be good because as you can see right here, as you start left clicking somebody, what they're going to do is they're going to start running away. You see she uses her guardian angel and she tries to shift over to a new location because she's taking pressure and damage from my left click. And because I know where she's going, I'm able to easily land my right clicks to where she's going to land. And because of that and her low health, she's going to be able to just, get bursted down pretty easily. And the Zenyatta Harmony Orb is not going to be able to heal that up in time. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of damage to the Widowmaker. Really, I'm going to kill her. So one of the key things to note in a situation like this, so I saw the Widowmaker here, right? I got the pick on the Mercy. They're down their main healer, but we're also down like our main tank on our Hanzo. So depending on the range of the Widowmaker, you will be able to kill her. This is probably what I would consider this a medium range, and if she's at a medium range, it looks like right now she's kind of like distracted and trying to shoot at people down over this direction, and if you see a Widowmaker who's not aiming at you, it's pretty obvious, you can tell where her gun is being aimed, then you can get some really easy chip damage on her, especially if she's like standing still. Then I would take the time to just go ahead and look for her head, and just try to like really take the time and effort to shoot the head, wait for her to use that grapple hook, and then use the right click as she runs away. So Widowmaker, I wouldn't contest her if it was a situation like earlier. So if I saw her and she was like here, then I wouldn't contest that. That's way too far away. My left click damage will get some pretty heavy fall off from that, and it's not worth, that's not value. But if she's this distance away or closer, like saying she was like right here or something, then it'd be pretty easy to kill her in a close range fight because you have the overwhelming damage at close range. Risk versus reward. Is this play going to be worth the risk? You always have to ask yourself. In this situation, I think the risk is definitely worth the reward because she's at close enough range where my damage is going to be able to kill her before she's able to react to me. Especially if you're at a like platinum level. If this was maybe masters or above, then it would be difficult to say because generally Widowmakers can get pretty crazy at that as you get higher ranks, especially if you get grandmaster and above Widowmakers. And even at this situation, it might be bad to go for her. It would all take, you would all have to like evaluate the situation and the game flow and who's dead and who's alive. So in an instance like now where I see that we're down 2 and only up 1, we're kind of at a disadvantage. So I'm guessing I'm saying that this is definitely worth it because we're down and I need to get another kill in order to even this fight. And also having the Widowmaker dead allows me to basically move around the map without any, like I don't have to worry about anybody killing me now because the Widowmaker is not going to be aiming at me. So I'm just going to stand completely still and aim my shots. As you notice, without a Widowmaker, I mean the first thing, when you stand still, it helps your aiming immensely. But if you stand still, the Widowmaker can kill you. But because we just killed the Widowmaker, I don't have to worry about that. I can just stand completely still and just focus on doing nothing but raw mechanics. See how I'm just standing still here? I don't have to worry about it because none of them are going to be able to reach me. The Doomfist might be able to reach me if he tries, but he's clearly distracted by the people on the ground, so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to use my visor to clean up the fight pretty quickly. As Soldier 76, you can build an ult extremely quickly, and there's no reason to hold on to visor. I don't think visor is that big of a game change. It's not like a game-changing ult. So something to note about fall-off damage is that it can be pretty crippling to your ultimate and can make it deal a lot less damage if you're using it from a really far, like a very far range or something. But you don't have to worry about that. If you're up close and personal when you use your visor, then it's a lot easier. See right here? This isn't worth it. Like, she's getting pocketed by a Mercy. Looking back at this, I don't agree with this decision. Even though it worked, I get some headshots on her and get her to half health, and here I'm going to use my right click and heal because she is hitting me. She's bodying me, right? I'm at 38 health. It's dangerous. My bio doesn't heal for that much. And my Mercy... So... if this Reinhardt wasn't here pushing the Flame Strike, and this Mercy wasn't over here to pocket me, see, I could have died. I don't agree with that decision. I don't think you should pressure a Widowmaker like that, depending on what rank you are. I don't want to try and tell you guys to just make these bold plays to peek and to go and take a 1v1 with a Widow when she's at this range. It's just not worth it. I would say the risk is much higher than the reward, but I'll let you guys, be the judge of that depending on what rank you're at, because sometimes the Widowmakers can just be really bad. In this instance, I'm not really respecting the Widowmaker. I didn't get punished for it, but I easily could have. It was a very risky play, and I don't agree with that, and I don't think you guys should make those plays either. So here, Widowmaker's mistake. I think I heard the grapple hook. This is something I can't stress enough if you're playing like DPS. Sounds, the game sounds are extremely important. Every little bit of sound is information. Right here, I heard the grapple hook. I know she's there, right? That's why I'm not going to peek for no reason. See right here, I'm just waiting for them to hurt her. But right there, I put the healing field down because I know that it's going to have an AoE and reach around here. And I heard the grapple hook, so I know she's over here. And at this range, she's not, this is where you have the advantage. You have the advantage in this situation. You have the healing field, you know where she is, you land the right click first in this instance. So the reason why I land this right click first in this instance, usually you want to use it in order to finish off enemies. But if you're facing a Widow 1v1 like this, she's going to have the opportunity to land a shot on you, probably if she's aware. Like she did right there. She tried to land a shot on me, which could have been dangerous. Look at me, I'm at 77 health, even with the healing field and even with that information. So the right click applies more burst damage and more pressure to the enemy Widow immediately, as opposed to doing the left click damage. Sometimes Widowmakers will try to shoot you and try to get the headshot off on you while you're doing damage with the left click. She won't even be worried about you in that instance. Using the right click first applies immediate pressure to the Widowmaker and can make her panic. And by making her panic, it'll make her aim worse. And instead, as you can see, she'll focus on jumping off and escaping. See, look at that right click. What does she want to do immediately? Immediately after I right click her, she does one shot, she misses, and at this point, she just starts to jump because she's panicked. She missed her shot. If you did your left click first instead of the right click, then she might have kept her cool, not have panicked, and instead probably just sat her sights up and just tried to line up a second shot, which could have taken your head off. So in an instance like that, right clicking first is fine. Here's something that I want to talk about. I don't know how often this happens in your guys' games, but this was a very unexpected nano. And don't feel like you need, if you get a nano boost out of nowhere, I mean, the Widowmaker's dead, the enemy team lost the fight, there's nobody here to shoot at, the only, like, I don't even have my ultimate. So don't feel, if you ever get a nano boost, don't feel like you have to do something with that nano boost. If you don't need to, or the situation looks like it's just gonna be lost, then it's probably better to just not do anything. Like, look at this instance. I get nanoed here. I'm not gonna go and like sprint down here and use the nano boost to chip damage him and then use my ultimate. That's way too risky. There's spawns right here, and the Widowmaker is going to be respawning soon, and I'm just going to get my head shot. Like, it doesn't matter. So, you know, thank you for the nano, I guess, but there's no reason to use it. That dragon was ambitious. You see some crazy things at this rank. That dragon was... It got a kill. I think the craziest thing of this... It got a kill somehow. I mean, looking over at this... Gosh, that was ambitious and it worked. Anything can happen. Anything can happen at this rank. It's unbelievable. So anyways, I knew the Doomfist was there, as we can see. So if you see a Doomfist, you know, and he's going over here, he's trying to be sneaky. He's going around from one of these 3 routes. There is 2 ways he can go. He can go down below, and then from there, he can section into here, right? But that's pretty much like, I would say 99% of the time, if you see someone going up this stairway, they're gonna go over here. And then you know where they are and you're able to land a lot of damage on them. So here, I'm not gonna go inside. I know the Doomfist is probably here, right? But I'm not gonna go in there. If you go in there, you're gonna be at a disadvantage because Doomfist is just gonna punch you. This is nothing but just one long, narrow hallway, which is what Doomfist wants, because being in that area allows Doomfist to just punch you, and if you get punched, you die instantly against that wall. So instead, you stay on the high ground and you let him come to you. And then, if things go wrong, you can jump down 2 different directions to escape to with your sprint. And also, you can probably go and get healed as well, because your teammates have line of sight of you. So let them come to you. See right there? I know he's there. I'm just going to do chip damage. Doomfist isn't going to be able to... He's not able to heal himself. The only way he's going to be able to heal is if he retreats and he goes to the mini health pack, which is somewhere around there. He decides to try and charge in. Don't do that. Don't do that. 100% the right thing to do as Doomfist in that situation would be to go get the health pack. So I have my ultimate. I'm not going to save my ult. My ult's not that great. Visor is really good at killing enemies in the air. They don't really have that. They have maybe a Mercy Valkyrie that I could probably contest. So here, I'm going to peek the Widow a little bit and do damage to her because I have the damage boost from the Mercy, but also because I've killed her all game. So this is another thing that could probably be a whole video on its own, but with DPS and DPS 1v1s, there's a huge mind game and mentality with basically killing somebody over and over and over again, and eventually you'll just completely disrespect the enemy, and basically killing them over and over creates this really low morale for them, and it makes them perform way worse than they should. So you're kind of at this like peak, and the enemy is at their like all low, and they're stuck at this like bottomless pit, and it just feels like they can't get out of it, right? So one of the things is they're down here and they're sad, and they want to get out of this hole here, but they can't, and I have the high ground. When you kill a DPS hero over and over again, like with this Widowmaker, I know for a fact that she's stuck down here in this hole, and she's sad, and she doesn't want to be here, obviously. But I've killed her twice, solo, and she's just dying, she's not performing well, and when that happens, basically it's like a big anvil on your head. I don't know how to make an anvil. Is that an anvil? Doesn't matter. So it's basically like a big anvil on your head, and she's feeling stressed out. She's not feeling good about herself. She's missing all of her shots even more because of that. And that performance is probably noticed by her team. And what happens in Overwatch if you're not doing well as DPS? People will yell at you, people will blame you, all kinds of negative impacts from the team, and she'll just get tilted even more and more, and she'll just sink lower and lower into this hole. And while you're doing this, she's going to just be at her all-time low, not performing well, and you're going to be doing just fine, if not better, because you're feeling better and better about killing her over and over. So it's kind of like a mind game in a way. If you're dominating somebody, you will continue to dominate them as long as you keep your head cool and you don't make any mistakes. And as you do that, the enemy team will be playing worse and making more and more and more mistakes. And as they do that, you can take advantage of it and just continue to kill them and farm them and use your ults and use some tactical crouching on them if you need to. So I think this is something I could cover in another video, but it's basically a mind game a lot of DPS players have with each other, and winning those 1v1s can put you at a huge advantage over the other player mentally. The beginning of the game sets the tone for everything else. So I'm just going to use my visor here, obviously. It's like 6 seconds left to the game, so using my visor here is definitely the most important thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just clean her up. I'm going to chase her because I don't respect her. Easy defense, very well played. The enemy team made a lot of mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes. And the thing about DPS, you need to basically punish as many mistakes as you can and make as few mistakes as you can. So right out of the gate, I'm going to be cautious of this corner. I'm going to keep note of it. If anybody was there, it would depend who that person was. If it was Widow, I might have shot a rocket at her and then just keep running, but I'm definitely not going to stick around and try to do damage to a Widowmaker in that instance. Even though I've been disrespecting her all game, I will respect that she has the high ground and I do not, which is something that Anakin should have done, and he didn't listen to Obi. So here, I'm going to do some damage, but I'm not going to get too deep because I see that there's an Orisa shield. And I think using that rocket was a mistake, but it's not a big deal. I'll let my team deal with it. So let's talk about this. So I see the Genji. I damage him. The Genji's probably not going to one-shot me. I have my whole team with me. I have a Mercy who's healing me. I have a Diva who with a defense matrix. So the Genji will be at a disadvantage if he pushes in here. We could kill it. We can kill him. So, what I am seeing here is I'm going to do left click damage. I see the deflect. Don't shoot into a Genji deflect, obviously. Never do that. But I see the Orisa shield, and there's also, we got purpled by the Ana. So, one of the things is you could do some decent damage against Orisa. Like, you could probably beat down an Orisa shield, but you don't really have the damage output to kind of get rid of that quickly enough. You need help from your team. It's not worth it. The only way this would be worth it is if you had a Reinhardt like with you, and then he could just use his shield, right? And then he blocked the damage, and then your damage output and the bigger shield, which is like 2,000 or something, compared to the Orisa 900, clearly you would win the shield war, and you could try to just get through there with brute force. But in this instance, we don't have that. We have a Diva. So instead, I'm going to just back off. Not only because I'm purple, but because there's no way I'm getting through that shield with 2 supports, a Diva, and just me, because I'm the only damage output. Diva does a little bit, but it's not worth it. So instead, I'm just going to move to a different position. Because it's Orisa, I know that her back is going to be exposed, and also because of her position, I know that there's going to be a lot of people on the high ground railing on the opposite side, because there's railing right here, and then there's railing on the opposite side that I know I have free ground on because Orissa's not able to protect them. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some really nice, easy left-click damage off. Who hit that Tracer? Somebody hit that Tracer, I think, not just me, right? Yeah, somebody hit her. I think somebody was just dominating her. So here, I'm just going to do left-click damage and apply pressure. And as soon as you see the Brig turn around, that's your moment to strike. See, she's looking at me. I'm not able to kill her right here, right? Because she has her shield. But then she decides to turn her shield that way, and I'm able to land it at her feet and let the AoE damage kill her. Easy way to pick off Brigs. Use the rockets at their feet around on the corners. So here the Ana's going to go ahead and anti me, and I'm going to respect the Ana because she landed some darts on me. She landed the dart and the anti, and at that point, I'm going to just sprint away, and it's perfectly fine to do that because we have the advantage. I killed the Brig, I killed the Tracer, they're down 2. And so there's no reason to die, even though there's a chance you could have killed her. You could have killed the Ana there, right? Your rocket was on cooldown because we just killed the Brig, and you can't use your bio in order to heal yourself, and you're kind of low. So it's not worth the risk. Right? Risk versus reward. Sure, you kill that Ana, but they're already down 2 people that you killed, and the other one is the Brig. And Ana doesn't have her nade, so she's not able to heal herself. So all I need to do is just wait for the purple to come off, retreat, heal up, and then re-engage. So another thing I wanted to talk about is sprint movements. So one of the things you notice with my sprint, notice how I don't move in a straight line. You notice how I kind of like zigzag a little bit? I go left, right, there. Moving like that is extremely good at just trying to dodge. You could run in just simple zigzags. It's something that I think most people... I don't know if any of you are familiar with Game of Thrones, but there is a character on there who really could have used this advice. Moving in a zigzag makes you much harder to hit rather than moving in a straight line. You'll surprise yourself how these movements will actually keep you alive. If you're really about to die, what you can actually do is you can just run it in zigzag formations, like in circles and just random crazy movements with your sprint to just try to delay your death as much as possible. You can use that on, like if you're trying to contest a point or an objective and it's overtime, you can just run around in crazy zigzag formations and circles all around the objective to try and stall it for time, which is another crazy method you can do. Don't be a Rickon Stark. Don't move in a straight line. Always zigzag. It just helps you survive and the enemy will shoot you less. So you can use it to try and stall points. So here I'm just going to wait for the health pack and then I'm going to go right back in and engage, but it doesn't matter because we already got some really nice picks. Overall, it was a very good game of Soldier. I really enjoyed showing it to you guys. In summary, how to carry your games as Soldier. Make sure to weigh the risk versus reward. Always look at if it's worth doing this play or not, especially on defense, because your life is definitely the priority. Whenever you're on defense, you want to try and stay alive as long as possible because the enemy team has the advantage on attack with the spawning. You have the disadvantage with the spawn doors, especially on a first point. Don't waste too much time shooting at barriers. It doesn't really do that much. You are not built for that. There are characters who are better at it, and you are better at just trying to find better positioning. Use your sprint, go to a new location, try to find a different angle, and stay on the high ground. Try to use your rockets in several different ways. You want to use your rocket to initiate on Widowmaker 1v1s because it'll really scare them and it makes them panic. Use your rocket to finish off squishy supports with low mobility and to surprise them at the burst damage and be able to execute them. And then you can also use your rockets in order to chip away at enemy tanks' armor because they do have a lot of it. Anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and if you can, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have anything to say in the comments, maybe some tips of your own for Soldier, please let me know, and I'd love to hear about them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.